Yo, what's up guys, my name is Nick and welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix. If you aren't subscribed yet and if you have missed the last video, do watch that video right now because this is a continuing series of the last episode, of course. Coming into the weekend, we are doing our usual activities. No messages this time for us. Let's have a look if we are going to do an upgrade. It doesn't seem like it's not at the facilities at least. At the moment there's still a major engine power upgrade for the future busy, so we can't do anything at that department, but we are doing a major rear downforce upgrade. Or am I doing that? I think I am. We need to have a look. I'm waiting really long. Come on, mate. Thank you. That will come on in time for the Italian Grand Prix, of course. There is a summer stop after this race, and we are already at the 13th Grand Prix of the season, and we have a major issue on the production line, as our mate is saying. This doesn't help at all, of course, and now that we've done the real downforce upgrade, we don't have enough resource points for this one, so that will be for next episode then. Now coming into qualifying, as we have skipped the practice programs, or at least I skip it in the video because I only do quick practice to save myself some time. So let's get into our first lap then. You can see 2 green sectors, of course. We are not going purple because we are still quite at the back of the grid. I don't know why I did that with an accent. But coming to the last corners, having a little bit of a terrible line through that last corner, but making it on to the start finish race and putting in a 120.0. Of course, that is way too slow compared to the other drivers, just like Stroll is doing a 118.2. So we are having another try to improve our lap time, of course. Already a half a second up on our previous lap, and we can even make it up to 1 second of an improvement. Will it be enough to come even close to the drivers in front of us? I don't know. Let's have a look. It's a 119.0 and it's still 22nd place, and now everybody's coming out for their lap. But we don't have enough time to go into the pits and start a new lap, so that is it for us. Qualifying is over for us. I don't know if it's over for my teammates. Let's have a look at that. And yes, it is. He's only 2 tenths away from Q2, but that's not enough, of course, to get in there. Just let's have a look at the race.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of Formula One action. We're not expecting too many retirements at this circuit. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher, who made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. 14 corners then for our drivers to navigate at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring today. It's 6 lefts and 8 rights around a lap here, with average speeds in the region of 120 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and Perez. Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Mick Schumacher, and Esteban Ocon. Gasly, Tsunoda, Carlos Sainz, and Vettel. Joe, Liam Lawson, Daniel Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Alex Albon. Stroll, the engineer. Magnussen, they've taken a grid penalty. And Nicholas Latifi. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race.
So a few things that surprised me is Lando Norris on pole position. It's actually crazy how much McLaren has improved over the last races, of course. And also 20% of the grid has grid penalties, so that's also quite a lot, of course, with Carlos Sainz having one as well, which promotes us up into P20. I know it's not the best, but yeah, let's just hope we can do something in this race, as we are lining up after the formation lap to our grid, and we overshoot it by 0.4 seconds, or meters, not seconds, but the 5 lights are coming on. Can we have a good start for once? The lights are out and away we go. Having a mediocre start, losing 2 positions, which demotes us to P22, of course. Of course, I don't know what I'm saying. Going down the middle of Latifi and Magnussen. Latifi having a dive bomb himself, and we push Stroll a little bit wide so we can have the better exit out of turn 1, of course. Maybe trying to have a look around the outside of Latifi. Can we make it stick? No is the answer to that. Still Stroll behind us, and he is in a faster car. Let's have a look here, trying to go around the outside of Latifi once again, but we go a little bit too wide, which gives Stroll an opportunity to come down my inside. And actually my teammate is fighting Carlos Sainz. And was that Magnussen without a wing? Front wing? I thought I didn't see a wing at his car. Maybe need to pit because he doesn't have a front wing, or it is a bug, I don't know for sure. But let's get to the end of the first lap. You can see they are fighting quite a lot, and Stroll having a look down my inside. And yes, I think it's Magnussen with a broken wing, because he can't keep that gap close between him and Stroll. Stroll actually went also into the pits, so that's us in P20 without any drivers behind me that are a danger to us for now. Ricciardo going a little bit wide. Let's have a look at what happened there. You can see coming to the last sector, he just goes a little bit wide without any reason. Maybe a little bit of oversteer, which he had to correct, of course. And now in lap 4 already, we are losing the gap a little bit, or losing the touch a little bit with the car in front of us. Latifi is now 0.8 seconds ahead, but Ricciardo and Zhao are fighting quite a lot, which helps us to keep in touch with them. Stroll is 23 seconds behind, and I don't think that gap will close anytime soon.
Gap to your teammate ahead is 3.6 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're in 15th. Your last lap time was a 1 minute 21.6.
So my teammate setting a lap time of 1 minute 21.6. I don't know what we are setting at the moment, but our fastest lap so far is a 1:21.4. And you can just see how much Ricciardo and the Alfa Romeo driver are fighting, because we just lost the gap to our teammates and also the other drivers, but we can hold on to Latifi and those in front. Of course, now that they are not fighting as much as they did in previous laps, they are getting away, but I can stay with Latifi, of course, as I've done every race so far. We are now in the 1.8 patch, so the drivers have been a little bit made slower. They are now a little bit slower, so that's good for us, of course, as I didn't get any good results in that last patch, with them being too overpowered to even try and fight. But now that we have an opportunity to overtake Latifi, it's really good for us, because I know that even though our teammate is a little bit in front of us, he is setting around the same lap times as us. So we are having a good race so far, even though we are in P20, of course. Having a look at lap 12 already, we are skipping a little bit ahead. And you can just see the gap to Stroll and Magnussen is still 20 seconds, but they are in the pits once again. So maybe they even will even get lapped because they are already 2 pit stops behind. And Latifi is now also not that far ahead. But his laps is 16. That's time for us to go into the pits and get ourselves some fresh hards. Of course, they will be cold when we come out of the pits. Taking a little bit of grass with those mediums, but they are getting ready to go into the been. Here we see Daniel Ricciardo making a good pit stop, coming out just ahead of us. It would have been better if we would have held him up a little bit. As we have a problem at our pit stop, our front right tire didn't come off as it needed to be, so we lost some time to them. As you can see, now a gap of 6 seconds ahead of us, and a orange icon in the bottom right corner. And now our teammate is in the pits. That orange icon is our gearbox. We need to change that after this race, but of course we can finish with a 60% gearbox. It's not the worst, but you will lose some performance. You can see Latifi now coming out of the pits, or he is already out of the pits, of course, but he is quite some seconds ahead of us. But we managed to clear that gap, and now it's only 0.8 seconds. Once again, we are quite literally flying with our car on those hards, as we have set a 120.3. We are actually a second faster with some new mediums. As we go down the inside of the TV, can we make it stick? We have the DRS, but the TV just has a better exit. And having this amazing battle around the outside of turn 2. Can we hold the position? I don't know if we can. Yes, we can, as the outside turns into the inside for the next corner. So now we are past the TV finally in lap 22. So now we can close the gap with Albon, as we have quite some pace on those hards. Of course, the tire wear is pretty low with hards, so we can push through to the end. But as you can see, 2 laps later, we are still 4 seconds behind. But they are fighting, so that's a good thing for us, as they will lose some time. And Latifi is now outside of the 1 second gap, so he won't have any DRS in the coming DRS zones. Of course, there's only 2 DRS zones which have 1 activation point, and lap 30 it is Albon. We have close the gap to 3 seconds. Of course, there's still 3 seconds too far to overtake him, and Magnussen is actually being quite fast and almost overtaking Latifi. So let's just try to get that gap closed and stay away from Magnussen, as we are now almost within that 1 second gap in the penultimate lap. Let's just hope we can overtake him in that last lap. My weakest point of the circuit is of course the last corner, so we won't have a good run out of that, I think. And it's Latifi and Magnussen still fighting for that 19th position. But you can see in front of us is Albon, Guan Yu, and our teammate Lawson, of course. He's doing a pretty good job. But Lando Norris wins this race, of course. He's doing 2 wins in a row. It's absolutely amazing for him. But yeah, the race is not over for us at all. As you can see, Latifi and Magnussen fighting so hard. Magnussen actually overtook him. But we don't have any opportunity anymore to overtake Albon. If the race was, I think, 2 laps longer, then we would have overtaken him and the Alfa Romeo driver as well. But that's our race over in P18. Really happy to get some pace once again after such a long time, of course. Carlos Sainz taking driver of the day after taking a grid penalty. But let's just have a look at the podium.
It's victory in Budapest then, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving that they're a force to be reckoned with out on the track.
As you can see, a podium for Lando Norris, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, of course. Alex Gillen is in the McLaren team for this race, as he wants some money as well. It's a third driver that I know from the YouTube scenes, of course. But let's have a look at the results for the race. You can see it's Carlos Sainz who went from P13 to P6, but let's have a look at what we did. We were 1 minute and 8 seconds behind Lando Norris at the start-finish. So that is quite a large gap to close, of course. We were faster than our teammates with our fastest lap with almost half a second, and nothing changes for us in the standings. And we still need 2 points to get our team bonus for the end of the year, but we still have 9 races to go, so that will be good for us to hopefully get 2 points or even more. Maybe to overtake some teams, as our team acclaim is going up once again. We are almost the same level as Liam Lawson, so let's just see what we can do there. And of course the cash, we have another 300k in the bank for us. We had some damage, so that won't be anything for us, but our teammate did a clean race, so that's almost 2.5 million in our bank, which will be used next race, of course. But that was it, as we still have a contract renewal or sponsorship renewal, but that will be for next episode. If you don't want to miss that episode, then please like and subscribe to our channel, or to my channel. It's not your channel, it's mine. But it was an amazing race, and let's have a better race in Belgium. Goodbye.